Here's the SportCruiser, or is it called a Piper Sport? Well, let's take a look at the story behind why it has two names, and we'll look at the capabilities of this amazing aircraft. The main thing about this aircraft is it is an all-aluminium light sport aircraft that runs on the really efficient Rotax engine, making it really economical. In fact, the cost of ownership for 500 flight hours a year works out to be just €54 per hour using avgas, but it'll also run on MoGas fuel, bringing that cost down to just €40 per hour. However, these prices were probably published before the recent fuel price increase. Still, that's all the more reason to consider an economical aircraft with a Rotax engine. The SportCruiser will stall at 31 knots and cruise at 115 knots, which is quite the flight envelope. It's got great soft and short field performance, takeoff distances of 1,270 feet for tarmac and 1,499 feet for grass, and it'll stop in 479 feet on tarmac and 364 feet on grass. However, I know it can do a little bit better than this. Don't ask me how I know that though. It'll fly for 5 hours 25 minutes on 114 litres, burning just 17.5 litres an hour, which is absolutely great, especially in this day and age with the fuel prices being so expensive. And that gives it a range of 516 nautical miles. So the Rotax engine is a 912 Rotax, and it has 100 horsepower, giving the SportCruiser a maximum cruise speed of 119 knots and an economical cruise of 93 knots and a climb rate of 825 feet per minute. The VNE is 138 knots. Also, it can be fitted with a more powerful 120 horsepower Rotax engine to bump those numbers up a bit. It also has a luggage compartment with 18 kilograms capacity. And when it comes to safety, the airframe itself has done 11,000 certified hours, and cruiser aircraft have enough parts to ship anything out to you that you need overnight. The SportCruiser has been approved for operation in the US and in other countries such as Europe in the light sport aircraft category, and it meets the FAA and EASA standards. Some have also got a ballistic recovery systems parachute, which brings me to the differences between the variations and the story as to why there's two names. So there's the original SportCruiser, and then there's the Piper Sport, dubbed the PS-28 Cruiser, and there's also the continuation of the PS-28 and now the PS-28N Cruiser. So what's the difference between them all? Why does it have these two names? Well, in 2010, Piper licensed a derivative of the SportCruiser to be marketed as the Piper Sport PS-28. Their aim at the time was they wanted to offer an entry-level aircraft such as the Piper Sport so that they could bring new customers into their brand and hope that those customers would continue to buy Piper aircraft in the future as they look for more capabilities. Piper didn't take part in the construction of the Piper Sport, though. This was still done by Cruiser Aircraft. But Piper did distribute the parts and sold a slightly modified version of the SportCruiser under the Piper name. So what did they add? They added a stronger nose gear, the ballistic recovery parachute, an all-leather interior, a cockpit sunshade, which I think is really crucial when you've got a bubble canopy like that, modified pitch controls, and a custom paint scheme. Piper versions were only offered as a complete aircraft, so there was no kits here. They started delivering in 2010, however, just a year later, after selling 45 aircraft, the relationship between the companies obviously changed and Piper wanted out. Quoted as saying, "After a year working with the Czech Sport aircraft, Piper determined that it is in our company's best long-term interest to discontinue the business relationship." Clearly, the company has a different perspective and approach to the marketing than the Czech Sport aircraft have. Cruiser Aircraft did indicate that the disagreement involved geographical focus on Piper that had put the marketing efforts into the US at the detriment of the rest of the world. Whatever happened, the fact that Piper saw potential in the SportCruiser at first and endorsed it with their brand name, to me speaks volumes about the quality of this aircraft. Leave your opinion in the comments as to what you think might have happened between the two companies. The same distributor and dealer networks continue to sell the aircraft, but under the previous name of SportCruiser. After this, we ended up with the SportCruiser, which was built between 2006 and 2011. Some of these were sold as kits. Then Piper Sport got involved and created the Piper Sport, built between 2010 and 2011, just that 1 year. And then after that, we have the PS-28 Cruiser, which had the original name SportCruiser for EASA, And we also have a 600 kilogram version in the 600 kilogram weight limit, and you can get the SportCruiser with a range of different options today. Some of these include things like synthetic vision, 2-axis autopilot with VNav and approach coupling capability, ATSB in-cockpit traffic and weather, XM satellite radio, and more, with the PS-28N offering the most luxuries of all of them. If you want to know a little bit more about the differences between the currently offered SportCruisers, I'll point you to the SportCruiser website, where it actually outlines a little bit of information about the different technology on board of the different variations. I've seen SportCruisers on the used aircraft market from anywhere between £65,000 to £100,000 in the UK. If you are in the UK and you're looking for one, see the link in the description below. In the US, it seems like they're ranging between $90,000 to $160,000. So obviously there's quite a big difference between the age of the aircraft, the hours on the airframe, and the equipment that's on board. I'd just like to say thanks to those of you who have sent me a little bit of money via the super thanks. It does really help me to keep making informative videos for you. And if you want to send a little donation, the link is here. If you want to be involved with the growth of this channel, or if you want help buying and selling your aircraft, then please visit my Patreon, link in the description below. So for alternatives to the SportCruiser, check out my other videos here. And thanks for watching. I'm Pilot Mike, and I'll see you in the next video.